It all started when a fierce red dragon appeared in front of a lady with long silver hair. The madness was visible in the dragon's eyes while the lady remained calm, meeting its gaze. An old man kneeled in front of the young lady, begging for her to kill the dragon whom they called Wyvern. Aside from the old man, everyone was begging as if she was the only one capable of doing it. All of them addressed her as the Sword Saint, which caught her attention and turned her gaze to them. She wasn't sure of what he heard from them that she hesitated. Unfortunately, there was no time for her to absorb those words in her mind. The dragon was gathering all of its energy in its mouth to form a massive energy ball. Enough to wipe out the entire village. Villagers were in panic. They knew it would be the end of them once it was released. All of them ran as far as they could just to get away and save their lives. That young lady with silver hair was left standing in her position while burying her face against her palm. She held her sword as she was thinking of how to get rid of the dragon before her. Just when the villagers had turned their back, they caught a glimpse of a dashing sword which made them freeze to where they were standing. Without breaking a sweat, the dragon was already on the ground and the young lady was standing calmly above it. She effortlessly took care of the violent dragon even before it could release that dangerous energy ball. Her thoughts were telling her that she remembered everything while giving them an emotionless face. How she lived in her past life and how she died. She jumped off from the dragon and the old man who begged her earlier called her a sword saint, as soon as her foot landed on the ground. Everyone was cheering for her glory and praised her unexceptional skills, considering that it only took her a second to get rid of the dragon. She was reincarnated inside a book she used to read voraciously in her past life, titled Legend Sword. As the strongest swordmaster, Astria, one of the 4 Grand Masters. Gossips were circulating around about the swordmaster, Astria. It said that before Astria would help right away if anyone asked, but nowadays, she just pretended that she didn't notice anything. And not just that, she even asked for charges whenever she helped. Far different from how she used to decline payments no matter what. Without knowing, Astria was there. She heard all the gossip and she told herself that she wasn't that pushover Astria that she used to be. Sword Saint Astria for the greater good, used to help others without any expectation of reward, which earned her the title, the Sword Saint of Humble Poverty. She devoted her whole life to help others in need. By the moment she regained her memories regarding her past life, she no longer wanted to live like that. Her past life wasn't exactly pleasant, either. Back then, she had no choice but to live miserably because she had no money. She stood and walked out of the place where she heard all of the gossip about her. She couldn't believe that she was still living the same life in this world. It was getting dark when she arrived at her place. As soon as she opened the front door, she was greeted by a lady with fainted pink hair. She asked her what she wanted for dinner. Astria went straight to the stairs and told the lady not to bother on making dinner for her. She was too tired to eat anything. She entered her room in silence. She scanned her room, feeling the sense of disconnect and emptiness from her 2 lives was quite overwhelming. Her hand was gripping onto the shopping bags that she bought on that day. She had been trying to fill the void with shopping, yet lately, it was starting to get boring. She sighed in exhaustion as she laid on the couch. Perhaps doing the same thing over and over again made her feel sick. Out of the blue, her past memories suddenly flashed in her mind. It brought her back to the moment where she was aggressively restraining from a man at a very young age. The man was enraged when she interrupted and beat her instead. Her past life was kind of disturbing that she sat up on the couch. Those memories of that day seemed to be so vivid as if it were yesterday. It dragged her down sometimes. Anyways, she decided to try on the clothes that she bought to escape from those traumatic memories. She looked at the mirror as she thought that she had more than enough time and money to have fun. After surpassing the limits of the human body, she gave a good look at her reflection from the mirror as she praised her excellency on choosing clothes. It perfectly suited her. That's when she decided to go for a hike. Or that's what she had thought. She happened to come across a huge and bald man grabbing a child from his collar. He was angry as he told the child to be quiet since he would be executed in the village. While she was watching the scenario, her mind was complaining about why she couldn't ever walk away from something like what she had witnessed. The child forcefully bit the hand of the man and it made the man even more angry. Right before her eyes, she was about to witness a child getting beaten by a man helplessly. Her memories on how she restrained from physical abuse instantly crossed her mind. Her memories of constantly getting beaten made her enraged with unmeasurable anger. The feeling that she wanted to protect herself but her young body couldn't do anything. That's when she decided to intervene and grab the man's wrist before he could land a blow on the child. Both the man and the child automatically turned their gaze to her, most especially the man. He seemed surprised by her sudden interruption. She eyed the man as she stated that she had once mistakenly saved a wrong person, that was why she tried not to get involved if she could help it. However, she presumed that it wasn't the case at that moment. Outraged in anger, the bald man released the kid while gritting his teeth. The other one demanded her to identify herself, otherwise they would attack her. She would be glad to introduce herself, but the bandits wouldn't even give her a chance to. Seeing that they were aggressively charging towards her. Despite that, she had no plans on killing them, so she would just fight without drawing her sword. With a smooth swing of her sword, she instantly took down the bandits. They weren't dead, they just simply lost consciousness. She had no intention of killing them. The kid blushed in amazement. His mouth almost dropped to the ground as he praised how strong she was. It was rare these days to find women who were excellent at fighting. After all that happened, that bald man was persistent. He struggled to crawl towards the kid while stretching out his hand to reach him. His teeth clenched when he uttered that the kid was the seed of evil because of his filthy blood. To be specific, Astria wasn't the protagonist of the book Legend Sword. Instead, she was the master that would teach the original protagonist how to wield a sword. In short, she was nothing but a supporting character who made a brief appearance and exited the stage. And the one who was destined to kill her was the reincarnation of the evil god. The same being who was once called the seed of evil. Basically, this little guy was called the seed of evil. This innocent-looking face would sooner become the evil god and would eventually kill Astria in the near future. Too good to be true, right? In the book of Legend Sword, two gods existed. The primordial god, who created the world in the book, created two beings with the powers of yin and yang to rule the world. The good divine god, Shiner, and the evil god, Cassian. But one day, the evil god broke this balance. After several days of fierce battle, the evil god won and the divine god eventually died. As the sun gradually disappeared from the world and only night remained, a hope like a firefly was born. It was the seed of hope planted in the human world just before the divine god's death. The first holy king, Azrael, together with the four distant predecessors of Astria, joined forces and succeeded in defeating the evil god. However, they overlooked a very important fact. Through endless reincarnation, the evil god would be reborn. Astria was still hesitant. She couldn't just believe that this innocent boy was the reincarnation of the evil god. It was kind of impossible. To clarify things, Astria went to the bald man and politely asked if he had anything that would prove that the kid was the seed of evil. The bald man yelled that the kid attacked his foster father and ran away. Therefore, he concluded that within the next few years, the kid would surely become evil. Astria sighed in disappointment. It was an answer that she wasn't expecting. Obviously, she was tired of hearing those reasons in every attempt to kill a kid. She needed a real proof, like a mark on the kid's body. Her tone became serious as she eyed the bald man. The bald man stuttered in fear. He knew he didn't see any mark on the kid. He was just planning to execute the kid right away without any proof. Now that it was mentioned, the first holy king Azrael made a prophecy long ago. According to his vision, in the year 658 of the Chinese calendar, the reincarnation of the evil god would bring about the end of the world. For this reason, the children born in that period were often unjustly accused and hunted as witches. They were executed without any court order. Astria sat on the ground and turned her eyes to the kid. She casually called him kid, which made the kid flinch in surprise. She gave him a warm smile and introduced herself as Ray, the sword saint Astria. In exchange, she asked the kid for his name. Instead of answering, the kid was enraged. He shouted back at her by asking why she wanted to know his name. Beneath her captivating smile was a pissed-off mind that wanted to grill this innocent kid who suddenly turned into a furious kitten. She simply asked for his name, yet he suddenly got mad. To force the kid to say his name, she teased him that she would keep on calling him kid if he wouldn't say his name. That made the kid even more mad. He exclaimed that he was certainly not a kid. Perhaps, it hurted his ego after constantly getting called by a kid, so he stated his name with a straight face. His name was Sigrian. Hearing his name made Astria break a cold sweat. Her lips parted as she thought of something horrible. It couldn't be him. Just to be sure, Astria grabbed Sigrian and turned him around. She lifted his shirt at the back to search for the mark while Sigrian was forcibly restraining from what she was doing. As expected, His back was flawlessly clean. That was due to his cunning appearance that he hid all of his traces, which made it difficult for ordinary people to find a proof of the evil god. But Astria was built differently. She had this ability called insight, which she gained by becoming a transcendent. It was to perceive the essence of all things and also see the evil god's mark. With this ability, it was visible to her the concealed mark of the evil god. That mark was the real proof that Sigrian was truly the seed of evil. A few hours later, it was a little late when Astria arrived at her place. It was really dark, but the night sky was brightened by countless sparkling stars. The woman whom she was living with was stunned to see Astria back. It seemed that there was something unusual when Astria arrived. That was because Astria brought Sigrian with her. Her smile was obviously an awkward one, and Sigrian's face had reddened as if he had been crying the whole night. Astria sounded embarrassed when she mentioned that she didn't want anything for dinner earlier. But this time she asked for dinner, not for her but for Sigrian. The fireplace was the room's cozy heart, its stone frame a cool contrast to the fiery glow within. Inside, the logs blazed with a crackling sound, filling the space with warmth. Sigrian's mouth was loaded with bread while continuously chewing. Her bare hands were full of bread while pieces of bread crumbs were circling his mouth. He was starving to death, so he didn't mind eating on the floor, specifically at the center of the room. Perhaps he felt so cold that he decided to sit in front of the fireplace. Meanwhile, Astria was sitting next to her mirror. By looking at him, she was wondering what she would do to him after bringing him in a rush. Look at him. He was enthusiastically munching bread without thinking if his mouth was full or if he had spaces in his stomach. He looked like he hadn't eaten anything for ages. Watching him eat like that reminded Astria of the real ending of the original Legend Sword that she had read countless times. The original ending was horrible. Half of the world was destroyed, and together, the main character and the great evil Sigrian perish. Astria gritted her teeth as she tightened her fist. She couldn't just sit back and watch that miserable ending take place again. It was the world she fought so hard to protect. She had been living and guarding that world for 100 years. Fighting endless wars and placing her life on the line to protect. At the same time, mourn those precious people she had lost. She examined Sigrian again while the little boy was enjoying his meal. Currently, the evil god was in a sealed state, yet she couldn't let her guard down. As Astria stood and walked to Sigrian, she remembered that there were two ways to prevent the awakening of the evil god. Either purify his inner power or kill him instead. Earlier, before Astria brought Sigrian to her place, Sigrian pulled Astria's hand, which made her turn around. He admitted that he attacked his foster father due to constantly getting beaten every day. Despite that, he promised that he would never do it again. He bursted in tears as he explained that he could clean and cook well. He even guaranteed that he would do anything Astria would tell him to. Just so Astria would take him with her. It reminded her of her previous life when her mother was about to leave. She held her hand tightly while begging for her not to leave. Her face was flooded with tears as she screamed for her mother. Yet her mother didn't look back and slowly disappeared. Back to reality, Astria casually called Sigrian, ruining his healthy appetite. To his surprise, Sigrian flinched as he turned to her. With a straight face, Astria asked him if he would seriously do everything she would say. Without hesitation, Sigrian stood, and with determination, he firmly said yes. Amazed by his determination, Astria realized one thing. In the original, the reason why Sigrian was consumed by the evil god was because no one tolerated him. And for that reason, she kneeled in front of him and leveled her eyes with his. She softly rubbed his head while genuinely telling him to stay with her. Though he was blushing, he was kind of annoyed by how Astria brushed his hair. He certainly emphasized that he wasn't a kid for her to do that. Astria giggled as she teased him about what he was like if he wasn't a kid. In her mind, she made sure that she would raise him well so he wouldn't go astray. She tightly hugged him as if giving him assurance that she would be by his side all time. She would definitely teach him good things so that he could live together with people. As the flames from the fireplace kept on blazing, the night grew colder. But the warmth of the fire filled the room, which made them sleep comfortably. Despite the warmth that the fireplace sustained, Sigrian sat up on his bed. He appeared to be bothered by something that he couldn't sleep. He was stretching his hand while cursing on how his body was a disgrace for the evil god, although it was just an avatar. He swiveled his head towards Astria, who was sleeping soundly. She looked so comfortable that she didn't feel that Sigrian was awake and was staring at her angelic face. Giving her an evil glare, Sigrian moved closer to her. He was so annoyed with her that he wanted to kill her on the spot. It implied that he had bitterness towards swordmasters, though Astria showed kindness to him. Promptly, Astria rose from bed, which made Sigrian freeze in a thunderstruck. He pressed his lips while at the back of his mind assumed that she sensed his energy. Slowly, Astria's lips moved as if she was mumbling if he was awake. Staring with confusion, Sigrian was unsure of what she meant that he hesitated to respond. A few inches later, he was pissed off when he realized that she was simply talking in her sleep. Of course, he believed for a second that he got caught, which made him irritated. As you could see, he almost panicked. Even so, Sigrian presumed that Astria wouldn't sleep soundly if she knew that he was the evil god. Just in case, he decided to put her under a spell. Sink into a deep sleep. Those were the magic spells that Sigrian mumbled to make Astria sleep tightly. Nevertheless, he needed to be extra careful. He had only recovered about 10% of his strength. Even that, he was suppressing so the Celestials wouldn't notice. Drowning in her own dream, Astria promptly mumbled random words. Like asking someone to stay and begging for her mom not to leave her, considering that she was scared to be alone. That was when it hit him. Astria's heart was so weak that a dream demon could possess her. It was visible to him that she was surrounded by two demons, one with red hair and the other one was pale violet. Both of them had long hair and curly horns. While this sparkling circular white was ether, the source of all life, there were also existed black ether, the source of all evil. It was the source of the evil god's power. This dark aura was sleeping right out of Astria. It might look like she was just sleep talking to her bed, but the dream demon was manipulating her dreams. That dark aura around her was the proof. Sigrian was grinning from ear to ear while his blood-like eyes was sparkling in satisfaction. It was almost as if she prepared as an offering just for him. With a little energy, he swung his hand and the dream demon stepped back from Astria. It wasn't to save her, rather to use her as an offering for regaining his full power. He opened his palm and started gathering all of the dark aura that was around Astria. He was smiling in satisfaction seeing how Astria was so perfect for regaining his full power. When the dream demons had disappeared, Astria laid back to her bed and slept without saying random words. With an evil smirk, Sigrian placed his hand on Astria's neck. He planned on wringing every last drop of power from her and killed her once his strength was fully restored. Before he could even had the chance, sun rays was already shining through the window. A beautiful sign of a wonderful morning that brightened the whole room. Sigrian was hiding his face behind his fist while gritting his teeth in irritation. He knew what it meant when sun rays was glowing inside the room, which made him pissed off. Without realizing, his eyelids were gradually getting heavy as if the brightness of the sun was telling him to close his eyes. And the next thing that happened, he unconsciously laid on Astria's open arms and slept comfortably. He looked like a baby that was being held closely to his mother. The beautiful sunshine of the morning was glowing while the two of them were sinking into a deep sleep.